Hey everyone, today I'm sitting beside one of the most exclusive and rarest saxophones that money can buy. This is the Yanagisawa AWO1 solid silver, all singing and dancing model, and I'm going to be comparing it against their very much standard professional model, the AWO1, just a simple brass model. So for that, we are going to see what difference solid silver makes by doing a standard sound comparison. We're also going to take time to just marvel at some of the extra beauty that is on display with this saxophone here. So before we get going and do some serious playing on these two instruments, let's just break down some of the basic differences between the two models. Broadly speaking, Yanagisawa divide their instruments into two ranges. They call them the Pro instruments and the Elite instruments. And with the Pro models, these include the AWO1, which is this one right here, the AWO2, which is the bronze version of this. Then beyond that, they call them the Elite instruments. So that's the AW10, the 20, and then all the solid silver instruments like this one to my left. And broadly speaking, what this means is the differences are on the 10 and the 20 and those higher level instruments, we have a strapping system, which you can't generally see if you just look at the instrument from a distance, but if you actually peer in, you will see all the way running down the body of the instrument some straps, which are in turn soldered onto the body of the instruments, and then the pillars are soldered onto those straps, so it has a little bit more weight and I suppose a feeling of sort of solidity within the sound. That's another topic on the side, but generally speaking, that's what the strapping system offers, and Yanagisawa choose to sort of mark their Elite instruments by having that strapping system. In addition to that, they choose to put double arms on the low C key and on the low B key. So you can see on the W1 here, we've got single arm here and here, whereas on the 37, we've got two arms here and here. And then beyond that, there's just a tiny little thing, but on the Elite models, we have this tiny connection piece here between the low C sharp and the B key, just making that transition between the C sharp and the B slightly smoother. But otherwise, that's it. They are the same in terms of their build, the mechanism, everything else is identical. So let's just crack on and do a little bit of playing, and then we'll discuss some of these nuances in a little bit more detail later on. So before getting going and discussing the all-important tonal differences between these two saxophones, which are, after all, quite different in price. This one here must be about 3 times the price of this. I don't know, I've not done the maths, but it's a lot more expensive. Let's just take a moment to marvel at the beauty that this one on my left here offers us in comparison to the one on the right, which is, after all, kind of just looks like a normal saxophone, really, doesn't it? Brass and relatively plain. But perhaps some of you guys aren't bothered and you like that, and you're just looking for the saxophone to be a tool to do the job, in which case the AWO1 is brilliant. So that aside now, let's marvel at the AWO37, because it simply just gleams in front of me. We have a solid silver bell, bow, body, and neck. The whole thing is solid silver, and the only brass bits on it are the keys and mechanism. So let's look at that solid silver. It is rich in color, it gleams under the light, but in particular, we have this master engraving going on here. And let's just spare a thought for Yanagisawa's single master engraver who does all of this work by himself, because there is just one. And remember, Yanagisawa is a worldwide brand. They serve the entire globe. So when you guys are out there going, oh, I can't get an AWO32, I can't get an AWO37, spare a thought for that one person who has dedicated his life's work to becoming this single person who does the master engravings on these beautiful saxophones. And there is none more beautiful than that of the AWO37, because the engraving is even more intricate on this particular model. You can see it on the inside of the bell, running down the bell, and you can see it on the neck. And for me, there's almost sort of multi-levels of engraving detail. You've got the slightly more deeply etched parts of the engraving, and then you've got some really subtle sections where the guy's obviously using a different tool to pick out these finer sort of engraving marks here. And it just looks absolutely beautiful. It's like when you go to a museum, an art museum, and you see an amazing piece of art in front of you, and you just have to spend a few minutes sort of taking it in before you can move on. It's a little bit like that with this saxophone. So I think you take a few minutes to take it all in, and then you have a blow on it and see what it offers. So yeah, let's do that. Let's have a blow on it and see what it offers. So, the differences between these two saxophones. Well, it may come as no surprise to you that we're not talking about night and day difference-wise. They both have the same bore, let's face it, the same, broadly speaking, the same build and construction, and it's the same brand, obviously, Yanagisawa. So we're going to hear a lot of similarities in tone, response, and all the rest of it, intonation being identical. All that is absolutely true. But what the solid silver does for me, and I've had this as a long-held belief since the early days when I tried solid silver Yanagisawas, is it offers different colors and kinds of projection in different areas of the amount of air that you put through the instrument. So we all know when you blow softly through a saxophone, we get a darker sound, and when we put more air through it, the sound opens up and we hear more highs in the sound, it gets brighter. For me, the solid silver accentuates those qualities. So when we put a low air velocity through this instrument, we get that darker, sort of more sultry sound, and it's very, very responsive. As if Yanagisawas weren't already responsive enough. The solid silver makes it even more responsive. So it's a joy to play it from that point of view. And then when we start to shoot the air through more, the sound really opens out and brightens up, particularly when we put a lot of air through it. So we get this massive kind of color variation from the dark spectrum through to the bright, and that's what we get with the solid silver. If you try the other solid silvers in the Yanagisawa range, you get the same thing, but you just get it even more with this particular model because the whole thing is made from solid silver. So that's kind of it really in terms of the tone and the response. Otherwise, It's very similar in terms of just the playing feeling, that Yanagisawa sort of richness in the sound. You still get it on the AWO1. It's just a bit more measured on this guy. And as I say, I'm a big fan of this one. I've got the earlier edition of it. I absolutely love it. With this one here, it's just that extra exquisiteness in the sound that I've just described to you. Is it worth 3 times as much? Listen, you all know the answer to this. It's very much subjective. If you love owning a thing of absolute beauty and you like the idea that a single artisan has done this engraving and you kind of almost want to own a piece of history, then this instrument is most certainly going to appeal to you. But understandably, not so many of us have this amount of cash at our disposal, in which case this guy here could very well easily serve the purpose of giving you a great working professional saxophone. So there it is from me. I've loved playing both of these instruments. They are utterly fantastic and a joy to behold. So that's it. I shall see you on another video soon.